Dear students, today's topic of my lecture, electric charge and field part 2. In my first video, I already explained what is electrostatics and electric charge. If you have not seen that video, then please go to the link of my channel and like it and subscribe it. Today I am taking here properties of electric charge. So basically three properties of the electric charge. One is additivity, second one quantization of charge, and third one is conservation of charge. One by one I explain and you understand. First is additivity. It is the property of electric charge by virtue of which the total charge of a system is the algebraic sum of all individual charges in the system. Here when we are talking about algebraic sum, at that time you have to keep in your mind that we have to take proper sign of electric charge, because electric charge is a scalar quantity. Now we say that let a system that consists the charges q1, q2, q3 ... qn. Then the total charge on the system is algebraic sum of individual charges, that is q is equal to q1 plus q2 plus q3 plus ... qn. Now you understand this by taking one example. We take one example, a system that we consist and that is having plus 1 coulomb charge, plus 2 coulomb charge, plus 3 coulomb charge and minus 4 coulomb charge respectively. Then the question is, what would be the net charge on the system? That is what we say, algebraic sum of individual charges. So here you have the 4 charges, then take algebraic sum, that is q is equal to 1 coulomb plus 2 coulomb plus 3 coulomb, and the fourth one is minus 4 coulomb. So we have to consider this charge along with its sign, that is minus 4 coulomb. So the total comes to be 2 coulomb. So the net charge on the system is 2 coulomb. So that is additivity of electric charge. Another property that we call quantization of electric charge. Quantization of electric charge you understand like that: the charge which is on a body in the form of the discrete packets, and these discrete packets are uniformly distributed over to a charged body. That's why we say that it is the property of electric charge by virtue of which total charge of a body is always an integral multiple of a basic quantum of charge, that is q equal to ne, where n equal to 0, plus minus 1, plus minus 2, plus minus 3, ... so on. That you can also write that q is equal to plus minus na. Then in that case you say n equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, ... so on. Here protons and electrons have the charges plus e and minus e respectively. Now if we are taking macroscopic charges for which n is a very large number, in that case quantization of charge can be ignored. Now how you can estimate that how many numbers of electrons constitutes 1 coulomb charge? For that purpose you have to use the quantization of charge expression q is equal to na. So that's why here we have taken one example. How many number of electrons constitutes 1 coulomb of charge? Then here q is equal to 1 coulomb is given and e is given in magnitude 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So n equal to q upon e. Now you substitute the value of q and e. Q is 1 coulomb. So 1 we have written here, and the E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 90. So when you divide it, then what you are getting? You are getting 6.25 into 10 to the power 18. It means 1 coulomb charge that consists 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 number of electrons. So that's why we say that 1 coulomb charge is a very big charge. Another property is conservation of electric charges. Conservation of electric charges that you have already studied in class 11. I just remind your memory. In an isolated system, the total charge remains constant, that is unchanged with time. For example, we take uranium-238. When it undergo alpha decay, then it split up into 90 thorium-234 and helium nucleus. That is uranium-92-238 decayed into thorium 90 thorium-234 by emitting an alpha particle, which is a helium nucleus. So what happens? You see that here there is an equation. Here this 92 uranium-238, when it go under alpha decay, then it decayed in 90 thorium-234 and emitting an alpha particle, that is 2He4. So when you see that amount of charge before alpha decay, that is 92 E, and this equal to the amount of charge after the alpha decay, that is 90 E plus 2E. Again it is 92 E. Hence the electric charge is conserved. So that you understand with the help of the one alpha decay equation. Now you understand that already I explained you that when we take a ebonite rod and rubbed with fur, then both gets electrified. So here we have to take a system of ebonite rod and fur. When we are not rubbing these two bodies with each other, at that time both are neutral. So the total charge on that system is 0. But when the ebonite rod is rubbed with fur, then ebonite rod attains negative charge, while fur acquire equal positive charge. As you already know that the fur transfer the electrons to the ebonite rod, so that's why ebonite rod becomes negatively charged and the fur acquire the positive charge. Then again you see that ebonite rod and the fur, they are having equal and opposite charges, so that's why the net charge of the system is 0. Thus total charge of ebonite rod and fur system before rubbing is equal to the total charge of ebonite rod and fur system after rubbing. So that is called conservation of electric charge, and that you can see here in one diagram. Here this is fur and this is a ebonite rod, and this is fur. When we rub the ebonite rod with fur, then the fur acquire the positive charge and ebonite rod acquire negative charge. Now one question arises. There is a existence predicted theoretically a quark particle, and that consists charge 1/3 of E and 2/3 of E, but it is theoretically only predicted. If experimentally it has been verified that the quark particle is having this much of the charge, that is 1/3 of electron and 2/3 of electron, then even that condition, quantization of charge remains same. The definition of the quantization of charge remains same. it will remain hold good.